They clean the trains before dawn, care for the elderly through the night, build factories that never stop humming, yet most people in Japan will never learn their names. Because while Japan faces one of the greatest crises in its history, the solution is arriving quietly, speaking softly, and working relentlessly. And by the end of this story, you'll understand why the future of one of the world's most powerful nations may depend on people it once barely noticed. Japan is running out of people. Not metaphorically, not slowly, literally, every year. More Japanese citizens die than are born, schools close because there are no children to fill classrooms. Villages vanish from maps, entire neighborhoods age into silence. By 2040, more than 1 in 3 people in Japan will be over 65. The workforce is shrinking, the economy is straining, and the system that once powered Japan's rise is starting to crack. Yet if you walk through hospitals in Tokyo, shipyards in Yokohama, farms in rural Kyushu, or convenience stores that never sleep, you'll notice something different, a new presence. A different accent, a familiar warmth in the way customers are greeted. Filipinos, quietly, consistently, everywhere. Before we go any further, if you value stories that reveal the hidden forces shaping our world, this is the kind of story worth supporting. A simple like helps this reach people who might never hear it otherwise. For decades, Japan resisted immigration. It wasn't hostility, it was identity. Japan believed in cultural preservation, linguistic unity, and social harmony. The idea of large-scale foreign labor felt like a threat to everything the country had carefully built, but reality doesn't negotiate. Factories began struggling to meet demand. Hospitals lacked caregivers. Elderly citizens had no one to look after them. Construction deadlines slipped. Farms were abandoned. Japan didn't just need workers, it needed reliable, skilled, patient human beings willing to step into roles many locals no longer could or wanted to fill. That's when the door opened. Just slightly, and Filipinos walked through. The Philippines has a long history of exporting labor. Not because of weakness, but resilience. Filipino workers are trained, adaptable, English-speaking, and culturally attuned to service. Nurses, caregivers, engineers, technicians, factory workers, hospitality staff. Entire industries abroad already rely on them. Japan noticed. At first, it was temporary programs, trainee visas, caregiver exchanges, technical internships, quiet agreements that didn't make headlines. Filipinos arrived under strict contracts, long hours, modest pay, and heavy expectations. They stayed anyway. They learned the language. They memorized unspoken rules. They bowed deeper, worked longer, complained less. They became indispensable without ever demanding recognition. In elder care facilities, Filipino caregivers began doing more than their job descriptions. They sang to patients with dementia. They learned family histories. They stayed after shifts ended. Japanese families noticed something rare. Their parents weren't just being looked after. They were being cared for. In factories, Filipino technicians filled labor gaps that threatened shutdowns. In agriculture, they revived dying farms. In logistics, manufacturing, hospitality, and healthcare, they became the quiet glue holding systems together. Still, they remained invisible. Japan's media barely talked about them. Politicians avoided the subject. Immigration numbers were downplayed. But behind closed doors, companies knew the truth. Without Filipino workers, operations would slow. Without them, costs would rise. Without them, some sectors would collapse. This is the part few people want to say out loud. Japan's future is already multicultural. It's just pretending not to be. If you've ever wondered how nations survive demographic collapse, pause here and tell me what you think. Should countries adapt their identity to survive, or protect it at all costs? The comments are where this conversation really matters. But this story isn't just about labor. It's about human cost. Many Filipinos in Japan live between worlds. They send money home to families they barely see. They raise children who feel neither fully Japanese nor fully Filipino. They endure subtle discrimination, quiet loneliness, and the pressure to be perfect guests in a country that still hasn't decided if it truly wants them. Yet they stay. Because opportunity, even imperfect, is better than none. Because duty runs deep. Because sacrifice is familiar. And because Japan, whether it admits it or not, needs them more each year. Government policies have begun to shift. New visa pathways, caregiver residency options, skilled worker expansions, still cautious, still controlled, but unmistakable. Japan is changing, slowly, reluctantly, inevitably. And Filipinos are at the center of that change. What makes this story even more striking is how closely Filipino values align with what Japan is losing. Respect for elders, strong family bonds, work ethic, community-mindedness, emotional labor. These are qualities Japan once had in abundance and now desperately needs to preserve. In many ways, Filipinos are not replacing Japan's culture, they are reinforcing it. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The more essential Filipinos become, the harder it will be for Japan to maintain the illusion of homogeneity. The country will face a choice it has postponed for generations: recognition or resistance, integration or exclusion. And the outcome will determine not just the lives of millions of migrants, but the survival of Japan's economy, healthcare system, and social stability. We're approaching the moment where quiet dependence turns into undeniable reliance. And in the next part of this story, we'll uncover what happens when a nation built on uniformity begins to realize it cannot survive alone. Because the question is no longer whether Filipinos are essential to Japan's future. The question is what Japan is willing to become because of it. If this story moved you, if it made you see the world differently, consider subscribing before you go. Documentaries like this don't stay visible without people who choose to keep them alive. We'll reveal the tension rising beneath the surface, the backlash, the breakthroughs, and the future Japan may not be ready for. Because silence can only last so long. Silence can only last so long. In Japan, it's beginning to crack. As Filipino communities quietly grow, so does the tension beneath the surface. Not loud, not explosive, but present in small moments. A sideways glance on the train, a comment about language, a rule enforced more strictly than before, the kind of resistance that doesn't make headlines, yet shapes lives every day. For a country built on harmony, the strain is unfamiliar. Japan has always solved problems internally: discipline, innovation, endurance. But this crisis is different. No amount of efficiency can replace missing people. No technology can fully substitute human care. Robots can assist the elderly, but they cannot sit beside them through the night, listen to fading memories, or hold a trembling hand. And so the contradiction deepens. Filipinos are welcomed as workers, but not always as neighbors. Needed in hospitals, but not fully embraced in society. Essential, yet temporary. Useful, yet distant. This is where the story turns uncomfortable, because the more Japan relies on Filipino labor, the more visible that reliance becomes. Schools with foreign children, churches filled with Tagalog hymns on Sundays, Filipino grocery stores tucked into city corners, second-generation kids speaking Japanese better than their parents, yet still asked where they are really from. Japan is no longer just hosting migrants, it is raising a new generation, and that reality forces a reckoning. Some companies are already adapting faster than the government. Filipino workers are being promoted to supervisory roles. Interpreters are hired. Cultural training becomes routine. In certain hospitals, Filipino nurses are no longer substitutes. They are leaders. Quiet progress is happening, but backlash follows progress everywhere. Online forums fill with anxiety about losing Japan. Politicians argue for limits. Even as industries beg for more visas, the country stands at a crossroads, torn between preservation and survival. This isn't unique to Japan, but Japan feels it more sharply because its identity has always been clear, cohesive, and guarded. What happens when that identity must expand? Filipinos themselves are asking a different question. How long can you give everything to a place that still sees you as temporary? Some return home after years, exhausted but proud. Others stay, determined to build roots where none were meant to exist. Many live suspended between gratitude and grief. They celebrate Japanese holidays and Filipino fiestas. They bow deeply and laugh loudly. They teach their children to respect rules while holding on to warmth. They are building something fragile, but real. If you're still watching, pause for a moment and reflect. What does belonging truly mean? Is it legal status, cultural acceptance, or simply the willingness to stand by a country when it needs you most? Share your thoughts below. Stories like this are richer when many voices join in. Japan's future will not be decided in parliament alone. It will be shaped in classrooms where diversity becomes normal, and workplaces where trust outweighs difference. In neighborhoods where familiarity replaces fear. And here's the part that few analysts talk about. Filipinos aren't just filling gaps. They are quietly redefining what Japanese resilience looks like in the modern era. Not rigid, not isolated, but adaptive. The irony is powerful. A nation once admired for its uniform strength may survive because it learns to embrace difference. And a people known for leaving home may help another country finally move forward. This isn't about losing Japan. It's about Japan evolving. The countries that endure are not the ones that resist change the longest. They are the ones that absorb it with intention, dignity, and humanity. Filipinos didn't arrive to change Japan. They arrived to work. But sometimes, simply showing up consistently, compassionately, and quietly is what changes history. As this story reaches its end, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. Japan's future is already being written in hospitals at midnight, on factory floors at dawn, and in small apartments where dreams cross borders. If this story resonated with you, consider subscribing. Not for numbers, but so stories like this continue to surface in a world that often overlooks them. Share this video with someone who believes the future belongs only to the loud and powerful. Because sometimes, the people shaping tomorrow are the ones no one thought to look at twice, and long after the silence breaks, their impact will remain.